In Part 2, we look at some of the reasons children behave the way they do. These include our children's genetic makeup, their health and well-being, the family environment, and influences from the world around them. We also look at monitoring, how to keep track of their behavior.
All children inherit a unique genetic makeup. Along with physical features like the color of their eyes and hair, children may also inherit their temperament. Some are outgoing and talk a lot. Some are very active and on the go, and others are more emotional or reflective. These differences in temperament early on can be related to whether or not children go on to develop behavioral or emotional problems. But it's important to remember that not all difficult babies develop problem behavior, and some easy babies do. So there are other things that we need to be aware of.
Sometimes children's health makes a difference. For example, they may seem to be refusing to do as they're told, when actually they may not be able to hear us properly because of hearing problems or ear infections.
Aaron, get in the bedroom, you're not coming down.
What?
And if children are living with a lot of stress or aren't eating or sleeping well, they may find it harder to focus their attention, listen and learn, and do as they're told. We also need to watch for illnesses. Children may act differently when they're sick.
A lot of difficulties with children's behaviour relate to their day-to-day family interactions.
There are important things that happen at home that can prevent children learning to do the right thing. And there are traps you can fall into that can contribute accidentally to problem behavior and make positive parenting difficult. The first trap is accidental rewards.
Chloe, listen. Are you being silly now?
An accidental reward can happen when children get what they want by misbehaving.
No. Oh, you have it, Chloe.
For example, buying a treat for a child who is misbehaving on a shopping trip.
They're happy? Yeah?
When behavior like this gets results, it's more likely to happen again. Another accidental reward can be attention. If you pay attention to behavior like this, you can accidentally encourage it. So ask yourself, how much attention does your child get for behaving in a way you actually don't want to encourage?
Sandy, you can't have them.
A second cause of challenging behaviour is what we call the escalation trap. This can happen when children want something and they're being ignored. Now what happens is that they learn to become demanding and louder to get attention. And when they've become really upset and angry, a parent perhaps says to them, "Okay, just take it, but stop that yelling."
All right, just have it. Just settle down.
Now, what's the child learning in that situation? Well, if you don't get what you want, all you have to do is escalate, and then you get what you want. Parents can fall into an escalation trap too. Everyone does at some stage. Let's take an example. Let's say a parent has called their child for lunch.
Chase, turn the TV off and come to the table.
The child refuses, the parent gets louder,
Chase, turn the TV off and come to the table.
and may even threaten.
Chase, turn the TV off and come to the table.
And when the parent is well and truly angry, the child gives in. So what's the parent learning in that situation? The only way I can get my child to listen and cooperate is to yell at them.
Children can learn to misbehave when we don't pay enough attention when they're behaving well.
At last, he's playing by himself. I finally get time to read the paper.
We can easily fall into the trap of ignoring good behaviour when things are going smoothly.
If this happens, your child can accidentally learn that a way to get some attention is to misbehave.
All right.
Children really learn a lot by watching others, including things we'd rather they didn't. Like swearing, losing your temper, hitting out, being untidy, and how to react when something's scary or things don't go as they'd like.
Oh, idiot!
They pick up on how you talk to people, and especially how you talk to them.
I want to have it. No, you're an idiot.
It's what we do that children will copy. Action speaks so much louder than words here. Of course, there are lots of other influences as kids get older, like their friends and what they see on TV and read on social media. But it's parents who are the most important role models for children, especially in the early years.
So, but if you can pick them up from here.
No, I want to eat my dinner. No.
If a child hears a parent shouting and then getting in their own way, what are they learning from that?
I've dealt with this boy all week.
Well, they're learning, hey, this works. I can try the same thing and get what I want. When parents yell and shout a lot, it's no surprise if children do the same.
The way you give instructions can also influence your child's behavior. Giving too many instructions can create conflict.
All right, honey, just go wash your hands, set the table, and bring all the things in from the kitchen.
Also, if instructions are given so quickly your child doesn't have a chance to follow them or can't remember them all, then problems can happen.
Look at this mess. I asked you to set the table, not bring in everything from the kitchen.
It's all gooey.
Sometimes it's the opposite.
Guys, too messy.
When children receive too few instructions, so they really don't know what is expected of them.
Juliana, can you take this down to the laundry room for me, please?
Okay.
We can also expect too much and give children instructions that are too hard, and they're just not capable of doing as they're asked.
Another trap is when instructions are poorly timed.
Eloise, can you come and help me make dinner, please?
During a favorite game or in the middle of a TV program
No, Mummy, my program isn't finished.
is not the best time to ask for something that could wait until later.
It helps not to be too vague with instructions.
Don't be silly.
Such a vague instruction doesn't tell your child what to stop doing or what to do instead. There's a similar problem if we phrase an instruction as a question.
If you say something like, would you like to come inside and have a bath now? You've got to be prepared for a response like, no thanks, not now.
Sometimes our body language can give a message that's different from the instruction we're giving.
Stop it.
For example, if we tell a child to stop doing something, but at the same time we're laughing, it's a very mixed message. Are they supposed to stop or not?
Turn the tablet off and come to the table for dinner, Hannes.
Also, if we give instructions from too far away, like shouting from way over the other side of the room or from another room, they're less likely to be followed.
The event in my life is stressful at the moment.
Emotional messages mean that we focus on the child being a problem rather than the behavior.
Angus, why don't you scream and shout and show off again? Hey, there's a little audience of kids here. They're all going to laugh at you.
Name-calling, abusing, or trying to make children feel guilty can make them resentful and uncooperative.
With miserable children all the time. Give me a German Shepherd any day.
One of the most important reasons that children develop difficult behavior is the way parents use discipline. If parents discipline their children without using strategies to encourage good behavior, the bond between parent and child can suffer, and behavior can get worse.
Sit still.
Some kinds of discipline can actually cause other problems. For example, shouting and yelling at children can lead to arguments and an escalation of difficult behavior. Smacking or spanking a child can also teach them to be aggressive.
Threatening a consequence, but not following through, is a particular problem.
Don't look at me like that. Turn it off now. That's your last warning. If not, I will take it away. Do you want me to take it away? I will take it away, okay? Turn it off now.
If there are no consequences, children will often learn to ignore a parent's requests.
You've got 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
Another problem is when we deal with misbehavior when we are angry. There's always a risk of losing control and hurting a child.
You dare bite me. You dare.
Or we wait too long before doing something about a problem and then use discipline as a response to a crisis. If we wait until things become so bad we can't take it anymore, we can overreact and be too harsh.
A final problem is being inconsistent, like when instructions or rules are not followed through the same way every time, or when parents contradict each other in front of their children. When things are inconsistent and unpredictable, children can be confused about what is expected of them, and their behavior can be more difficult.
Okay.
It's also important to remember that our own beliefs, attitudes, and expectations of children can influence our parenting.
Yes, I know Kavina's been playing up at school, like she's been doing this for weeks, and just don't know what to do with her. It's just a phase, isn't it? She'll grow out of it, won't she?
But the fact is, this sort of behavior needs to be dealt with so it doesn't turn into a more difficult problem later on.
Sometimes I think she does it on purpose just to get at me.
This can create a lot of resentment and lead us as parents to overreact in a situation we might otherwise have dealt with calmly. It may also stop parents from looking at how their own actions contribute to problem behavior and what they could do to help their child learn.
Sometimes I just think that I'm hopeless parent.
This can make parents feel guilty and depressed. And of course, when you're feeling that way, it's much more difficult to be patient, calm, and consistent with your child.
Come on. Children need a warm, loving, caring environment. However, some children grow up in a family situation where there is a lot of tension and fighting. This can be really distressing for children, and it can definitely influence their behaviour. They can become aggressive or anxious or even depressed.
How you feel as a parent can also influence your child's behavior. If you're feeling depressed, exhausted, angry, anxious, or upset, it's more difficult to be calm, patient, and consistent and relaxed about parenting.
Stress is a part of everyday life. All of us have to deal with problems from time to time. But children need routine, and stress in the family can disrupt normal routines.
I'm just at my wit's end.
Not all influences on children's behavior happen in the home. Children are also influenced by others in the community, their relationships with friends, who they are friends with, and how they treat each other. And difficulties with learning or school in general can also cause emotional or behavioral concerns.
There's also what they read, see, or hear in the media, and that includes television, movies, computer games, and what they access online. It's up to us as parents to monitor what they're reading, watching, and doing. For example, if children are exposed to inappropriate content on the internet or are victims of cyberbullying by peers, this can be very distressing to them and can affect their well-being and behavior.
Now that you have looked at some of the reasons children behave the way they do, it's time to think about goals for change in your own behavior and your child's behavior. Choose only one or two problems to work on at any one time. State goals positively so you know what you want and your child does too. For example, if a child runs away on shopping trips, set a goal for your child to walk with you in the shops. Make sure that your goals are reasonable and achievable. Before you start a new parenting plan, keep track of the behavior you want to change.
It's helpful to think ahead and to develop a parenting plan for how to encourage behaviour you like. A pretty good place to start is to keep track of your child's behaviour and your own behaviour.
One way to keep track involves keeping a diary of when a problem happened, what happened just before it, the trigger, and what happened afterwards, the consequence, like how you dealt with it. Another way is to keep a record of how often a behavior occurs, counting the number of times the behavior happens. You can put the information on a graph to keep track of your child's progress. Do it for a week or so before you start a new parenting plan. And remember to continue to keep track once you've started. This will help you notice improvements and will keep you motivated with your positive parenting strategies.
We've looked at some of the reasons why children behave the way they do. There are many influences on children's behavior, including their genetic makeup, their health, the family environment, and other community influences.